Now we're live. We're broadcasting.
It's working.
It's working. What is up? What's up, Siglet? Blue. Yeah, we got the blue. Looking pretty, too. Got another cool guitar to show you as well. What's up, Raptor? What's up, Martel? What's up, everybody? We're just going to give it a second. Let some people show up. I'm going to play some music for you guys. Do some improvisation. Oh, here's some YouTube comments. What's up, Cool Stuff Dad? What's up, Cygnus? What's up? How we doing? It's Friday night, baby. Time to party. Wow, Brandon Ewing is in the chat. My man, I miss you, dude. Oh yeah, we're representing YouTube. See you in Nollins. Oh yeah, that's coming up next Thursday. What's up, YOLO? What's up, everybody? What's up, Chris? How are we feeling? How's the tone sounding? Let's do some lead tones. Yo, what's up, friends? Yeah, we're going out of the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. What's up, Sergi? It's aight. Damn, all right. Well, it's Brandon's fault, so he's the one who made the tones. So if you don't like it, it's this guy over here. What's up, Tim? What's up, Sully? Let's see some G's in the chat. Who's watching? Who's ready to learn today? The sensei is live. Oh yeah, we don't have any of the redeems. Hey Julian, how you doing? There's some new people in here. Most of these are the gleamers. Here we go, here we go. Let's go. You gonna learn today. We're going to give it a couple more minutes, and then we're going to play a song. I'm actually going to play some Fallujah music, and I got a song from Enthios I'm going to play. And then we also have a jam track set up. So think of some questions you want to ask me. We could talk about anything. We could talk about the guitars I play. We could talk about Kiesel guitars. I think that'd be the most appropriate. We could also talk about the music. Writing, improvisation, anything you want. Where's the new Git fiddle? I'll show it to you. I'm going to make you wait. We're going to play the Enthios track with the new Git. It's pretty sick. What's up, Daggy Orgy? What's up? What made you want to play Kiesel? Well, they're the best guitars in the world, that's why. Undeniably. Among other reasons. Great people, but the guitars, they're just, I mean, there's nothing better. Gotta say, your neck pickup is the best I've ever used. Let's go. I agree. Very stoked. I have it in this guitar, actually. I promise I'll move the mic before we start so we can see everything. This is not a roasted neck. This is just raw flame maple. Your eyes deceive you. Is that your personal blue sig? No, this is a signature that was at the shop. So that means it's available if you want to buy one. Ready to go. Come on. Let's get some sales. Little Spoon in the chat. Hello. Are you watching from the plane right now? Or you're about to fly? Jack's Guitars. Yo, I'm happy to be here. Have you tried your new guitar? Yeah, I got it right here. Stick around. You'll watch me play it. It is so sick. Sounds amazing. How does it feel to be back in the Kiesel shop? Oh, it's amazing. I've been coming here for 10 years. Well, they had an older shop, and they moved into this place, what, like 2016 or 15? 17? Yeah, 2017. So, I don't know, it's very nostalgic for me, and I always get really excited just walking around and seeing all the different guitars and the works and just the smell of the place. As soon as I walk in, I'm just like, oh, I'm back. It's a magical place. What's up, Krieger? All right. Do you think we've waited long enough? Is it time to do some music? Let's see some G's in the chat. Let's do some music. We'll do a couple songs. I'm going to play a Fallujah song on this guitar, and then we'll do an Enthios song on this new guitar, which I'm excited to show you. And then we'll take some questions. We can get into it with the questions. I don't want to answer too many questions right now. Look at all this G's. Yes. Jeez Louise. All right. Guess what song we're going to play first? Let me make sure this is in tune before we get ripping. Freebird. Good guess. Yeah. That's what we're going to play. We're going to play Kaleidoscopic Waves. Let's go. Hopefully I'm still warmed up after chilling here. All right, y'all. Keep the chat spinning. Think of some questions. We're going to do a couple songs, and then, yeah, we'll hang out. We'll talk. We'll teach. All right, give me a second.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Bleeding through
Let's go. How was that, y'all? Let's see, is this chat scrolling? Yeah. And I'm not going to read that comment out loud. But it sounds like you liked it. Yo, if there's anybody new here, that was a song from my band Fallujah. That's from our latest album. It's called Kaleidoscopic Waves. It's from our album Xenotaph. It just came out in June. And we have tab books available. But yeah, pretty crazy guitar work. Lots of solos. There's 2 solos in that one. Bunch of hybrid picking. Some weird scales. So keep those questions in mind because we're going to play one more song. So if you got any questions about hybrid picking, how I write music like that, or even the guitar, we'll talk a lot about the guitars. And this is the guitar. This is a signature Kiesel with a maple neck. We got an awesome, what is it? Why am I blanking? I'm better at guitar than I am speaking, I guess. But this is my signature guitar. It's available on the Kiesel website. And you should check it out. But I don't want to do too much talking. Let's play some more music. And I want to show you a new guitar. This is a new Kyber that the guys at Kiesel put together for me. It is so beautiful. But yeah, drop some G's. Let me see who else is in here. I'm trying to see who is the YouTube commenters versus the Twitch commenters. I think I see it. Yes. This is Buckeye, right? This is like a different kind of... Yeah, okay, that's what I was blanking on. Yeah, it's just... This one has like a Buckeye top with this beautiful blue over it. With a mahogany body. I was like, I forgot everything about this. Yeah, Buckeye. Everybody's like, dude, we know this. Oh, here we go. I love your SIG. Always wondered why the headstock finish isn't matched to the body. That was a deliberate choice, actually. I really like the look of having the neck and the headstock matched. I think that's, I don't know, I think it makes the body actually pop out more. You know, that was definitely an aesthetic choice. I think it's more normal to see the headstock and the body match, but I don't know, I think this is just a beautiful look, this kind of just showing off all this maple, and this is bird's eye with, oh no, not this, this is flamed and a matching flame fretboard. Yeah, it looks dope. All right. One more song, and then we'll talk for a little bit. We're already 13 minutes into this thing, so we got to get going. So give me a second. Hold this. I have to do the switch. Yo, and shout out to all the Gleamers that came through. I appreciate you guys. All right, check this thing out. Oh my God. Who has not seen the Kybers? I mean, if you're on the Kiesel YouTube page, I'm sure you've been seeing a lot of awesome Kybers come through, but man, I was blown away when I saw this. It's like a reverse black burst showing off the burl wood. It just looks so sick on camera. Then we got the ebony. And again, same thing like my signature. We have the matching fretboard and headstock. And they put this together. They put all the specs together. And I thought it came out awesome. And I'll be playing this on the tour that I'm heading out for next week. So I know a lot of y'all already know about Fallujah and Enthios, but we're leaving for a tour on Wednesday with both bands. And I'm going to be bringing 4 Kiesel guitars with me. I'm going to be bringing 2 of my signatures and 2 Kybers. And I'll be using my signature guitar for Fallujah and then the Kybers for Enthios. And we are about to play an Enthios song right now. We're going to play The Sinking Sun. Lots of riffs, 2 solos. Last song had 2 solos. This song has 2 solos. This was in B standard, but I had to drop it down to A. Are we going to be in Oregon? Yeah, we'll be in Oregon. Go check out the show. All right, y'all. So one more song. Think of those questions. Think about what you want to talk to or what you want to talk about. I'll tell you anything you want to know about music, guitars, whatever. So think of those questions, and then we'll have a conversation after the song. All right, let's go. Show me some emotes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I hit a wrong patch towards the end there. But we're killing it. What do you guys think of this guitar? Pretty sick. I'm particular to the maple fretboards myself, but there's something about ebony fretboards that kind of have like a little bit of a smoother tone to them. You know, it's like a little less bright, which is kind of sick sometimes. Maybe it's not like my preferred thing for metal. I like the brightness of maple, but the leads just sound so smooth through an ebony fretboard. It's almost got like a fusion-y kind of sound to it. So we were only planning on doing this for about an hour. I still have a few more songs I could play for you, but we were going to take now to take any questions, talk about guitars, music, making music, techniques, anything you want. So let's let the questions rip. Let me have it. Yo, thank you guys for all the emails. Appreciate it. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Hope it's sounding all right. And if it's not sounding good, it's Brandon's fault. Nothing to do with me. Yo, and if I haven't said it, I think it's in the title. My name is Scott Carstairs. I play for a band called Fallujah. I've also been playing for a band called Enthios. I've been an artist for Kiesel almost 10 years now. And they're the best guitars in the world. They're the best people in the world making guitars. And yeah, if you don't have one, you need to get one. You will know the difference as soon as you play it. I surely did 10 years ago. And they've only gotten better. Questions. I have answers.
Let me know if you want me to pick out any for you.
What? Oh, if you see it, am I missing some? If you see some, hit me with them.
All right.
I'm not seeing any. I'm just seeing a bunch of emotes. Is it?
All right, I got one right here.
Okay.
All right, for your kind of lead work, any reason why you opted for the Kiesel bridge instead of a Floyd Rose?
Oh, well, I was playing the Floyd Rose, and then Jeff started working with the Hip Shot Bridge, and I just thought it was better in every way. I mean, it's taking up less wood. First of all, it's like it looks better. You know, it's sleek. It stays in tune really well, and especially with the combo of the locking tuners. You know, the thing, like I just dropped this into drop A after it being in B standard. It's still pretty much on point. I mean, it could be adjusted a little bit. I mean, you're not supposed to do that, but so yeah, it looks better. It's taking up less wood. Like I had these beautiful guitars. I still love them, but the Floyd Rose is taking out this like huge chunk of this beautiful top wood. So that's a pretty big reason. And then the other reason is it just straight up has better tone. I mean, I'm sure the Floyds that are on the six strings, they sound different than the 7-string Floyds, but I'm a 7-string guitar player. So that's the only thing I can work with. And the difference is just massive. I think, you know, it's like, this is your connection to the body of the guitar. You know, so it's pretty important what this is made out of. And, you know, I don't know all the technical stuff about what it's made out of and all that, but I do know it sounds better when I record with it. So yeah, I mean, those two reasons I would say. And it stays in tune. I mean, I play for an hour on stage, and I go hard with my whammy bar. So hard that like I have to change my strings every couple days because I think I just abuse it so much that I'll break strings. Like I did a set with Born of Osiris that was more than an hour, and I think I tuned it. I usually would just double check in the middle of the set to see if it was still in tune, and most nights it was in tune. And if it wasn't in tune, it was like maybe the guitar tech didn't stretch out the strings as much as I would have, you know. So there you go. Got some more questions? Yeah, I'm not sure what you're seeing. I'm seeing just all the gleamers in here. But yeah, if you got questions, let me have them.
Do you use the Lydian mode in any of your writing?
Do I use the Lydian mode in any of my writing? Maybe somewhere around there. Not so much, you know. My thing is I like to do intermodal changing, which is imagine you have a tonal center, and I'm sure this is going to just sound like another language to some people watching. But, you know, if I'm in the key of, let's say, E, I see that as my tonal center, you know, and I want to color the notes around that tonal center. So I'll play, you know, usually starting kind of like an E minor, and for me, E minor is putting the intervals, a 2, a flat 3, a 4, a 5, a flat 7, essentially the notes of an E minor 7. And then if I want to change that tonal center, that E, to something else, I'll borrow intervals from other modes, such as Phrygian. So Phrygian is known for the flat 2. So instead of just thinking of a whole scale, I'll just take that E, tonal center, and then I'll put flat 2s in there. Which is, you know, if I go to F, I am playing Lydian. And you can hear that tone change. Like I'll play a little section in just E minor. And you'll hear it change. You know, another good one is if you throw in the major 3, you can kind of give it a Mixolydian feel. See if we can raise this up so it doesn't block the guitar. Or you can play the major 6 over it and gives it like a Dorian tone. So I don't really think about scales, I think about intervals, you know, because when I'm writing music, you know, the music is always going to be in a tonal center, you know, and that could be 12 different positions on the fretboard. And then it's essentially, how do I take that tonal center and color it in a way that it gets a feeling that I want, you know? So if I want it to be kind of more Steve Vai, you know, I'm playing the major 2 in there, you know? I want more of that kind of Per Nilsson, kind of Egyptian sound. I'm doing major 3rds with flat 2s. Or, you know, Dorian I always kind of associate with Pink Floyd, a couple other sounds, very proggy, you know, and there's also the alt scales. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. You know, it's like, I probably hit Lydian, but I don't see Lydian as like I don't use it as a scale. I think of Lydian as the sharp 4 major scale. So I'd probably just, if I find a chance to throw major 4, which I probably did in the second solo in Kaleidoscopic Waves, I'd have to look at it. But it's just kind of like, what feeling do you want to give to the listener? And, you know, I kind of associate a feeling with each of those intervals. And then I'll do the same thing with chord changes as well. Sometimes going from one chord to another just gives a specific feeling. You know, like, you know, if I could stay in key, and then right here I'll hit some Phrygian. It doesn't sound like Phrygian, but like that note. Or what I'll do, this chord. I got that one from Greg Howe. Shout out to another Kiesel artist, one of my favorite guitar players. All right, what else we got for questions?
How do you like your action? Do you try to slam it as low as you can without buzz, or do you give it some breathing room?
I do have it a lot lower than the average player. I do notice that when I hand my guitar to other people, they go like, "Oh, dude, this is really low." But the last tour, the guitar tech was setting up my guitar, and he's like, "How do you want your guitar?" And I said, "Just put it as low as possible without any buzz." And he did it, and it was too low. And I was like, "Okay, I don't like that." So I do it enough to where the notes sustain, but pretty low. You know, I like to do a lot of legato, and I don't want to have any resistance. Yeah, and I don't really have like a number to tell you. It's based on a feel thing. You know, just been setting it up for years. But every time the guys at the shop here set up a guitar for me, I usually don't change it. So pretty much maybe the standard, maybe a little lower than average.
What are some of your favorite warm-ups / exercises?
Warm up / exercise. That's a really good one. I mean, a simple one, the one I did just right before we did this, is pretty classic one. I think I originally got this from a guitar player named Rusty Cooley. But I'll basically take 2 fingers at a time, and I'll do like a pick, hammer on, and then I'll do that all the way up on that fret. And on the way back down, I go back down, but I'll do hammer-ons from nowhere. Right? And then what I do is you take that same thing and you do it up a second to the 2nd fret. Travel all the way up to the 12th fret and all the way back. And your hand's going to start hurting after that point. And then you're going to switch to your middle and ring finger. You do the same thing all the way up, all the way down. Then you do your ring finger and pinky finger all the way up and all the way down. And I think the logic behind that is, you could play a lot of guitar, you could learn a bunch of music, but you're always going to kind of miss some things, with strengthening your fingers, and that just ensures that, every pair of fingers is going to be strengthened equally. And the way I see it, it's like lifting dumbbells, it's like you're focusing on one muscle. For me, just maybe my style of guitar playing, I feel like my ring finger is always just a little bit weaker than the other fingers, just maybe the things I play, but it just seems like the ring finger is always a little bit slower. And I'll be recording, and I'll just notice that the note that the ring finger is supposed to hit, sometimes like it just won't be coming through as loud. I'll sit and do that exercise, make sure I really stretch out that finger, and then just, you could see it on the wave files, that note is coming out stronger. And then, that's what I would tell people that are, they want to do crazier stuff on the guitar. They want to do tapping and legato and all that stuff. For me, all that stuff you could practice, but it's just strengthen your hands. It's how strong your hands are and the amount of time you could stress them out, So maybe the second thing I could say about exercises is when you practice something, you don't want to just practice something till you get it up to speed and, and nail it perfectly. It's not even, it's more than just that. You want to set, a metronome time, get it to speed, and you want to be able to hold that for 30 seconds to a minute. Imagine if you have a guitar exercise, a legato exercise, Like, it's not enough for me just to be able to play that up to speed for a few measures. It's more important that I have it up to speed with the metronome, and then you set a timer and see if you could hold that for 1 minute straight. And that's really what's going to make you better at guitar. So then you could do these really long runs. And, playing music, when you're performing music, you're playing music, you're not just like playing one measure of music. It's in the middle of a 3 to 5 minute song. So like imagine you're playing all these riffs, and then in the middle of it, you think you're going to have the same strength that you did if you just went into it without anything before it. So it's really about stamina and strength, So of course you could talk about how to hold your hands and all that stuff, but you could figure that out. You could learn from watching on YouTube. I think a lot of things that guitar players miss is like stamina and using time, time limits on your playing, do it for a minute and a half. Like imagine it like it's like working out. You have the amount of weight and the amount of reps. You have these like 2 variables that you're working out. It's like, okay, you could do a lot of weight, but can you do that for 10, 20 reps? It's like you want that balance. And a lot of people just get away with that by simply learning songs and playing songs, because that forces you to play for a couple minutes at a time or whatever. So there you go.
Tell us about developing your signature pickup.
Oh, I mean, that was just so much fun for me. I don't complain too much about the guitars. I'm pretty stoked on it. And every time Jeff works on something and he adds something, it just makes the guitar better. So I'm usually always excited. I think the only complaint I ever really had was the neck pickup, just for my style of playing. Like I was playing the lithium neck pickup, and it was sick, but it had more of like a bluesy kind of passive pickup tone. You could still, like I recorded albums with it, you could get a great tone out of it, but I just wanted it to be a little bit hotter. I wanted the harmonics to hit a little bit harder, and I think Jeff knew that, and he gave me the opportunity to work with him on a pickup. So, I came over here to the shop, and it was right when he was showing me the signature guitars, and we had 2 different versions. It comes in blue and then also just the Buckeye burl with no paint on it. And so he was loading up each guitar with a pickup, a version of the pickup, with different things changed about it. Maybe I'm not like a pickup guy, but it's like there's like ceramic and different magnets and like the amount of windings and all that stuff. And what was cool is he didn't really let me in on all the technical, specs of what he was doing. He was just like, you need to play the guitar and just tell me what you think about the difference between these. When we would do 2 at a time, I think I came over one time and we did a few. And I believe the second time he's like, we're getting it today. So he just kept throwing pickups in the guitars and we just kept going back and forth. And I would, I think I had like 3 or 4 licks. I would do a legato lick, a harmonic lick, a tapping lick, and I think some other lick or something like that. And I would just see how the pickup would react to those licks. Like there would be times where the harmonics were just ripping and they're loud and the sustain was awesome. But when I would do my legato, it was kind of like dying a little bit. So he would go change something and then just keep going back and forth until every lick just was shining with the guitar and it just came out perfect, which in retrospect, that's the best way, right? I mean, that's all that matters is how it plays. And I think what we ended up with is like and I'm sure I could get corrected if I'm wrong, but like a ceramic kind of old school style kind of pickup, which is, like kind of cool. My favorite guitar players are kind of the older school, like Steve Vai kind of vibe, so I think it's more in line with that style of pickup. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
How do you train your fretting hand to be precise in placement while keeping up with your picking hand?
I think that just happens over time, and it's back to what I was saying about, you want to learn something up to speed, and you want to hold that for an amount of time. So a lot of things are just going to correct themselves over time. There are certain things you should keep in mind, though, that I do notice some guitar players that are doing that's holding them back from getting a nice, clean sound. Like I could give some direct advice. Like, imagine your picking hand. It's like a machine, like you want to have one technique and have one movement to move across the strings. And I'll notice a lot of guitar players, they'll come up with their technique and they sound really good towards the lower strings. Maybe they're going up a scale, flying up the frets. And because they're all tense and all that, they'll move their hand like this. Instead of, what I mean? Imagine, you'll see it with some guitar players. They will have their picking technique and then they will turn their hand a little bit like this. And just imagine you have this technique that you've worked on, you got good at it, and of course it works on the strings that you play more of, and then you try to reach down here and all of a sudden it sounds bad. It's because you're changing the technique. So I try to tell people you want to make sure that you're moving positions. You're not like slammed against the guitar, So if you're gonna do, some fast picking and you're gonna move up to the higher strings, make sure you almost move. You want to have that hand to string angle be exactly the same, So you'll see some of those shredders. Like think of like Zakk Wylde or something like that. When he gets into those high strings, he like has this kind of position with his body. I mean, it looks a little uncomfortable, but I can see why he's doing it. He's trying to keep his picking hand at the same exact angle, So I'll see people go like that. That's not going to sound good. And what are you going to learn? 50 million techniques of every single angle? You want to have one technique for what you do, and you want to try to keep that the same. So maybe that'll help. And then the other thing is you got to play a lot. A lot of these things, like you could show someone the right technique, but you just got to play more. You got to play along to songs, and you always got to be challenging yourself. If you're playing something that is comfortable for you, you're going to go nowhere. You could do that for 10 years, playing the same stuff you've always played. You will stay the same. The only way to get better is to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation and attempt things that are uncomfortable. And it's like hilarious. Working on guitar, you're constantly climbing a mountain, and it just feels like you suck the whole time. It's like that is a part of getting better at guitar. If you feel like you're not doing good and you're struggling, you want to be in that place. And if you're not, you've either mastered guitar, which I think only like 3 people have done that, or you're not challenging yourself enough. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Do you have any suggestions for improv? What is your approach?
Oh, that's a great segue, maybe. Yeah. So we do have an improv track, and it is getting later, so we're not going to do this forever. I think we're only going to go on for another 15, 20 minutes at most. And I did prepare a track to improvise, and you never know how improvisation is going to go. I love it. It's kind of like living dangerously. Could go terrible, especially when you're live. But I'll give you some of my philosophy on improvising, and then maybe I could just show you on the fretboard. But obviously, you got to know the fretboard. You got to know the shapes on the fretboard. You got to know the intervals. You got to kind of have like a little bit of awareness on the fretboard. And the more work you put into that, the better your improvisation is going to be. But sometimes even when you know every note and interval on the fretboard, you're still kind of like, what do you do with it, you know? And there's a bunch of ways to go about it. And the way I try to see it, you know, and sometimes I forget, but I see it as like a language. It's like a conversation, essentially. And a conversation is broken down from, you know, paragraphs, sentences, words, you know, and you got to think of your playing as like you telling a story, essentially, you know, and like think about how you talk to somebody. You're not just patching together random sentences that don't have anything to do with each other. You're moving, you're in the moment, you know. Sometimes you do talk about one subject that leads you to the next subject, that leads you to the next subject, and you kind of have to do that with your playing, essentially. So you're kind of always, maybe you start with an idea, you know, just like a conversation, and then that leads you to another idea. Maybe you're moving in a certain direction in the fretboard, and you just keep flowing with that. I mean, it's paired with being in time, you know, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but without taking hours of time to explain all the things you could do with improvisation. That's like the simplest way I could put it, is you want to be in the moment. You don't want to be too concerned with incorporating some cool lick or phrase that you learned, you know, and that takes a lot of time. You have to have a pretty big vocabulary to where you could just kind of let the right idea come at the right time. But that's kind of how I see it, you know. It's like learning a language, essentially. I mean, imagine you're trying to speak to somebody in Spanish and you're trying to piece together just all these random sentences that you learned. It like doesn't really start to sound good until you have a big vocabulary and you know how to recall that vocabulary for the necessary situation you're in, you know? So, yeah.
You want to do some more, or you want to do some improv?
I think that was a good segue. Let's try some improvisation, and I'll see how we do before my hands stop being warmed up.
You want to do it on that guy or your...
Let's do it with my signature guitar. Let's go. But how sick is this guitar? We'll put some pictures up for you can see it, but it just looks dope. And if you want to see it again, get some tickets to the tour coming up. I'll be taking this on tour with me with Enthios and Fallujah, US and Canada. But hopefully you guys are getting some good information from this. I love sharing. I used to give guitar lessons for a long time, but not anymore. I just do like live streams, so I don't really gatekeep the information at all. I'll just, whatever you want to know, I'll tell you. Oh, we must have played the shit out of this thing. So we're going to jam over some Carpenter Brute. If you watch my live streams, I love to play over like synthwave music. And who knows what could happen. This could go terribly. All right, here we go. We're going to jam. Let's go. That was all right. That was cool. All right, rapid fire some questions, and then maybe we got time for one more song.
I'll yell some questions at you.
Yell at me, please. Yeah, if you have any questions about anything that's going on guitar-wise, this is your chance. You can even ask me about the specs, whatever. But also, hit me with the hard ones.
Who are the 3 players you believe have mastered guitar? Guthrie's got to be one of them.
Oh, yeah, you're correct about that. Guthrie is one of them for me that mastered guitar. I guess I did say 3 earlier. I don't know if I could say, is there actually 3? Because there's, I'm pretty hard on myself and other guitar players, to be honest with you. So I don't know. There's a lot of things I can criticize about a lot of guitar players. But yeah, Guthrie is one of them. He's mastered. So I think the tenets for me is like, okay, can you speak with the guitar? Can you improvise? All right, how's your technique? Can you do some pretty athletic stuff with the guitar? And then the other thing is, which I feel like is always missing with a lot of these guitar players, especially this generation of guitar players, can you write some music that's impactful and makes you feel something? And it's pretty hard. I mean, there's amazing guitar players. I'm not going to bring them up because it would kind of disparage them, but there's guys that have just the wildest technique that it can improvise and play the craziest things, but they don't have sick albums. And yeah, Guthrie Govan or whatever, he's got amazing music that just, I don't know, we're going to be listening to it for decades. Another guy I would say is Greg Howe. He's probably one of my favorite guitar players of all time. He can improvise. The music he writes is amazing. The stuff he does is crazy and athletic. I'd probably say another one would be Alan Holdsworth. Same thing. Writes beautiful music. The guy speaks the language. He did speak the language of guitar. And that shit was just mind-blowing what he was doing. Nobody sounded like him. He was an alien. So there's my 3 right there. I guess we'll say Guthrie, Greg Howe, and Alan Holdsworth. There are more. I could think of more, but I'll go with those because they got to write good music. They got to be able to speak the language, and it's got to be impressive. It's got to be crazy. I got to be like, wow, I couldn't believe someone did that with the guitar. So there you go.
What are your thoughts on multi-scale?
I mean, it seems cool. It seems cool, especially if you are doing like these big chords all over the fretboard. Like you need the intonation to be perfect. But my true opinion is, like part of intonating your guitar is like your hand tone. Like once you play guitar enough and you can bend the strings and move the strings, and it happens in a subconscious way to where personally, I don't think the guitar needs to be absolutely perfectly intonated. Like even if you press down on the fret too hard, the thing goes out of tune. There is a feel that happens after years and years of playing guitar that I think eventually, I don't think you don't have to go too crazy. Obviously, there's amazing guitar players out there that like exclusively play the fan fret, and they probably have their reasons for it. But for me, I don't find it to be necessary personally. Like if I need to bend the note or whatever, and rarely am I hitting a note just straight on. There's always going to be vibrato on it or a whammy bar or vibrato on it. So I would say maybe for bands or artists where they're playing like really intense chords and all the notes are really kind of have no vibrato on them, so it would make sense. But yeah, I don't think for my playing it's necessary.
What's the most challenging song you've ever written?
Most challenging, honestly, the latest album. I don't know what got into us, but it's pretty challenging. It's pretty hard. Like that first song I played for you, I haven't played that live yet. This is technically one of the first live kind of settings of that song besides some of the live streams we do. There's like multiple solos on it. There's a lot of hybrid picking. There's like a lot of like arpeggiating chords, like not just like, arpeggios, but like holding chords and arpeggiating them and getting the palm muting correct. So, I mean, I think I would go with the latest album. The solo in Step Through the Portal and Breathe is one of the craziest solos I've ever had to learn. Kaleidoscopic Waves is crazy. I'm going to play you a song called Labyrinth of Stone. The riffs are just kind of just wild, a lot of like double picking across all these strings. And yeah, it's pretty difficult. Another one I would say is this song called Radiant Ascension, the solo in there. I wrote that album during COVID, during the pandemic. I'm just like alone in my room, and I'm like, I'll show them, you know. And then now I'm forced to play that song forever, and it's one of the hardest solos ever. But it made me a better guitar player. Having to get on stage and play that solo was, yeah, it was scary. But then you get good at it, and then now you can handle crazy stuff. So there you go.
Maybe one more question, and then.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
What were you thinking about when improvising over that song?
It's almost like singing. You know, anybody can sing in their. You know, most people can naturally just sing along and make up random melodies. So it's kind of singing, but also maybe I hit on a certain kind of motif or whatever. Maybe I was doing like a hammer-on thing where I was repeating it, and I was like, okay, I'm in this moment. I'm gonna slowly go a little bit higher with it, a little bit lower with it, and keep going further and make sure it makes sense. You know, you have to stay in the moment, and the improvising. You lose yourself when you stop being in the moment, you know? So that's the best thing I can say. It's like having a conversation. If you're talking with somebody and all of a sudden you start noticing like they have a little bit of food in their beard or something like that, and then you just like, you start to trail off, you know, you can't really do that. You got to like stay in the moment, stay with them, think about what they're saying, what you want to say back to them. Yeah, that's the best thing. Should we let's do one more question.
One more question.
One more question.
Bust them out. Has your music changed since you were married? That's from Manny. Manny Hart.
Manny, dude. That's amazing. You're in the chat, dude. I miss you, dude. I hope you're doing good. Man, Manny's known me since the very beginning, dude. So sick. That's amazing. Has it changed since I've been married? Well, I was the woman I married. I've been with her for 20 years now. But before we got married, it was years and years. She was there like right around when I picked up a guitar, so she's been there for everything. But she's definitely part of that stability in my life that allows me to focus on music. And I don't know. I'm sure, as you all know, relationships are very distracting and taking up your time and make you feel a roller coaster of emotions. And I think I've just been very lucky to have a partner that's been constant and stable in my life. And I think that I've thought about this. It's important to have stability to be able to create music. So I don't think it changed when I got married. Maybe it was a little bit like, okay, we got that done, so I don't have to think about it, and I got to get back to focusing on only music or whatever. But yeah, I think it is important to have to be level, or else you can't be productive with your practicing and working on everything. So yeah, I think that is important, but maybe not a huge change, because it's always been kind of there for me. All right. You guys ready for one more song? It's a pretty crazy song. I'm scared. Yo, and if you like these songs, they're available now on Spotify. New Fallujah album. I suggest you go check it out. Go listen to it. If you're into guitar work, I mean, it's pretty wild. And we just dropped a tab book for it, so anything you hear, you can go get tabs for it. The tabs are all accurate. All the solos, all the riffs, all that. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Hell yeah. All right, y'all. What do you think?
Wrap it up?
Yeah, wrap it up maybe. Let's do it to 6:10. How about that? We got 3 minutes.
We got 3 minutes.
All right, 3 minutes, guys. You can say whatever you want, but we got to get out of here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you liked that last song. And again, shout out to Kiesel Guitars for having me on the Kiesel page to do this clinic. Very fun. And if you're watching, you haven't tried a Kiesel guitar, you got to go check them out. But I'm assuming most of you know what it's all about. Is there anything in the chat? I think you're seeing things I'm not seeing, so I'm just seeing my Twitch stream go crazy, which I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here.
What is the best piece of theory to practice?
The best piece of theory to practice? Know your intervals. I would say that, Don't just be throwing things on the fretboard. Like, what is it? What is the root? What is the third, the fourth, the fifth? Because that's essentially the code of what the feel you're doing is, whatever the feeling is.
What is your workflow like for learning songs for bands you're filling in for?
I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like Born of Osiris, that was a pretty wild time for me. I was on tour with Enthios. They needed a guitar player, and I had to learn 16 songs while on tour on the bus with people partying. I mean, it's a tour. It's like a bus where people are drinking and listening to music loud, and it was just a mad dash. I mean, for that one, I basically would listen to 2 songs at night before I go to bed, memorize them as far as the structure, and then I'd have Nick, the guitar player, show me those 2 songs, and I repeated that process for 2 weeks until I had all 16 songs basically memorized, and then I would play through the set nonstop over and over and over again. And I've noticed that if you want to learn a lot of stuff all at once, do your best to memorize it. Don't try to get it perfect. Like, don't try to make the intro perfect before you moved on to the next verse. Just learn it so you know what it is, so it's all at this not good level, and raise the whole thing up at the same time. Play through the whole piece or the whole set and raise it up, because you're going to end up forgetting. You want to do it all. You want to get all the information in your brain and then put in a lot of hours to make it all better at the same time.
Here's a good one to end it on. Do you have any tips for smooth whammy playing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is a good one to end it on. Here, I will give you my ultimate advice for whammy bar. 2 things. Huge thing that I see people mess up, holding the whammy bar. You can't do it with 1 finger. It's not going to happen. Or a pinky or something like that. You got to take 3 fingers and grab that thing. And you got to do it with some vigor. You got to do it with some power. You got to have some strength when you're doing. So yeah, grab that thing, use all 3 fingers. And then the best thing I could say is try to emulate. It's at a certain point, I can't tell you how to move your hand. Everybody's going to be different. It's all about emulating something. Do you want to sound like a singer? Do you want to sound? You want to listen first. You don't want to focus on what you're doing. I mean, the biggest thing is, you got to hold it properly. That's one thing. And you want to pull in different directions. You want to go up. You want to go down. Because think of a note, the perfect pitch of a note. You want to dance around that note. You want to go above it and below. And just like vibrato, on the fretboard, or the way a singer sings, the brain will figure it out. Your audience's brain will figure out the note you're trying to hit, because you're dancing around it. It actually sounds nicer than if you just hit that note straight. And then the other thing I like to think about is, so you emulate a singer, but I also have like weird things I like to think about. I like to think of water a lot. Personally, my thoughts for when I'm trying to, emote something, I think about water. Like if you threw a pebble into a glass lake that has no ripples in it. And imagine how when it initially hits the water, you have these fast ripples, and then they get bigger and they kind of dissipate. You know what I mean? You kind of want to like emulate something. And for me, that's how I do it. Like I'll go... And then the last thing I'll say about that is it's usually the upstroke of the vibrato. Imagine that the notes are going up and down around that note. The high note is kind of the rhythm that the brain attaches itself to. So if you want to do a rhythm, maybe it's dotted thirds or eighths notes, you do have to have a rhythm to your vibrato. It can't just be randomly going all crazy. You could tell when somebody's not very good if they're just... they sound like an alien spaceship coming in or something like that. You want to have some rhythm to what you're playing. Usually I don't even think about it. Like I said, it's more of a just you're emulating sound or whatever. But I notice when I record, because sometimes I got to play a solo again, and I was like, oh, how did I do that vibrato? It's like dotted thirds or eighth notes. So yeah, that's my best technique, advice for that. Hold it properly. Use all three fingers. Keeps your pick available. Try to think of like the way a singer's voice is. They never just go straight into it. They ease into it. They hit the note first. And then it's almost like they have the whammy bar plug-in knob and they just like turn it up, Or you do it the opposite, like what I'm saying, where you start the ripple and you let it dissipate and get wider, So hopefully that gives you some advice on how to make your whammy bar better. But yeah, that's going to be it for the clinic. I hope you enjoyed it. I thought it went pretty good. I thought it was all right. Thanks, Brandon. The tone sounded great. Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to Kiesel Guitars. And thanks, everybody, for coming through and asking questions. I appreciate it. Make sure, go follow everything on Instagram. Check out my band Fallujah. Check out my Twitch stream. I do this pretty often. I am going on tour. I'll be taking the stream on tour, but we basically do little mini clinics every week when I'm at home. So come through, watch that, and buy Kiesel Guitars. Thank you, guys.